Today, something unusual is going to happen in a small town in Kansas. Independence, the aspiration of all people all over the world. Independence, the name of a small town on the map, in the heart of the United States, surrounded by the plains of southern Kansas. Lots of farming here, of course, but new industries too. 11,222 citizens today, and more tomorrow. For this town, quiet just now, is usually very much alive. Today there is something special in the air, as if the entire city were holding its breath. Today, Independence, Kansas is giving a party, and its citizens are getting ready for the guests. The guests, neighbors from farms and cities all around. The hosts, descendants of those who have maintained the spirit of independence ever since it was founded almost 100 years ago, who survived drought and plagues of insects, withstood economic crisis, and have known how to adapt themselves to changing times. Here, for instance, is farmer James Gordon and his family.
Well, just wait a minute.
Mrs. Gordon, who urges speedy departure for work and school.
Hurry, you'll be late.
And you'll be late for school.
Yes.
College student son Jim, teenage daughter Linda, and Tommy, 9 years old. Today, their activity is rather unusual. They have been tying ribbons on Tommy's go-kart since dawn. Although he owns fine tractors and other equipment, James Gordon has found that his ancestral farm can no longer ensure a livelihood. Because of increased production costs and the need for even greater mechanized efficiency, only big farms have remained lucrative. So James Gordon learned a new trade and got himself a job as a machinist in one of the new factories in town. And with the help of his family, takes care of his farm. Harold Bricken's presence here is another example of the spirit of the town of Independence, although he and his family are newcomers here. Bricken was brought in as the latest of scores of technicians from neighboring Oklahoma, when officials of the pipeline network, spurred by the progressive spirit of the town, decided to consolidate their control center in Independence.
Ready for Chicago now. You can have it.
Okay, I'll start it right now.
Harold Bricken has a fascinating job. By pushing a button, he can start an oil pump in Texas and channel the flow of oil all the way to the Atlantic coast or Chicago, Illinois. James Gordon, having dropped his son Tommy at school, is somewhat late getting to work, but today nobody will mind, just as nobody will wonder about the unusual load in the back of his truck. Main Street looks different today, but in the luncheonette at one of the corners, business goes on as usual. Although Cassie Economist does not always juggle knives at the counter. Her father, John Economist, came all the way across the Atlantic to settle in this town whose spirit welcomes new arrivals. Norman Beale, an apprentice at the new electronics plant, is leading man in tonight's play, a fact which explains his sideburns. The ingenue in this same musical production is 14-year-old Kay Bernard, an expert horseback rider. She still has to master a dance step. For James Gordon, farmer and tool and die maker, and for his fellow workers, the lunch bell is about to ring.
Hey, Gordon, let's go work on that float. Okay, coming.
But today, instead of enjoying their sandwiches and relaxing, they have something much more important to do.
What's that?
Since moving into town in 1956, the electronics plant they work for has become a success, thanks in part to the high morale of its 350 employees. Healthy competition has something to do with this spirit. Not only is their mechanical skill outstanding, but their artistic ingenuity as well. Another, and possibly the strongest proof of the vigorous spirit of this community, is the enterprise which Paul Bish manages. 2 years ago, Independence, in the middle of the Kansas prairies, succeeded in becoming the home of a factory which makes boats. Of course, this boat is not intended to float. Ever since the town was first established, its citizens have been proud of their educational system and have worked hard to maintain high standards. The topic under discussion here, however, is not learning. Tommy Gordon and his classmate Jimmy, Harold Bricken's son, are talking over their plans for the coming festivities. The girls seem less concerned, especially Bricken's youngest daughter, Susan. And why should she be concerned? After all, her mother will have her Girl Scout uniform ironed in time for this afternoon. While her father, Harold Bricken, the newcomer to town, finally gets his first chance to take part actively in a community celebration by helping his colleagues with the pipeline company float. School is finished early today, and that's when the oldest and the youngest members of the Gordon family meet with much pride and anticipation. Backstage at the Civic Auditorium, there is a last rehearsal of the play, with the horseback rider and young factory apprentice in featured parts, and Paul Bish, boatmaker, acting as theatrical producer.
Come back on. Better than that.
Yes.
All over town, pretty girls like these are feverishly trying to make themselves even prettier. A few hours from now, one of them will be chosen to ride as the beauty queen of the day in the big parade. And tonight at the auditorium, she will be officially crowned by the governor of Kansas in person. Not only schools, but stores, plants, and factories have closed earlier today to give all citizens, old-timers, and newcomers a chance to become a part of the festive atmosphere.
Is that right?
Well, that's fine. Just don't make the holes too big.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, honey.
Daddy, you have to wear the parade?
Well, what are you going to be dressed up as?
It is the Brickens' first year in independence, but as of today, they are completely caught up in the spirit of their new hometown.
Daddy,
What's that, Jim?
my leopard mask.
You going to wear this in parade this afternoon?
Yes.
Cassie Economist has abandoned her lunch counter for a more glamorous occupation.
Thank you.
Instead of juggling knives, she gets ready to twirl her baton as drum majorette in the Independence High School Parade Band. Of course, she won't be the only one. School bands arrive from all over Kansas and from Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, and Nebraska. There is the Altamont High School Band and the Iroquois Drum and Bugle Corps of Omaha. There are bands from Neewollah, from Tulsa, and from Cherryvale. The big yearly get-together, one of thousands like it across the United States, is about to begin. This particular event, held in late autumn, celebrates an ancient Anglo-Saxon tradition, Halloween. Many of the costumes and floats, the witches and dragons and pumpkins, are based on age-old legends forgotten in time. Other cities and towns play host to their friends on other occasions. In every case, civic pride and hospitality bring grown-ups and children together in a warm glow of friendship. Not only the big event itself, but for weeks of exciting preparation and months of remembrance. Ever since the days when the town was settled nearly 100 years ago, in what was then Indian territory, initiative and self-help have been the driving forces in every phase of life in independence. From the early days when independence proudly used the slogan, "The buckle on the oil belt," when oil gushers first shot black gold into the air, to today's development of the vast pipeline network under the town, oil has played an important part in the history of this farming community. The oil pipeline company's float has its own importance. This group is sponsored by the Elks Club of Omaha in northern Nebraska. In fact, most of the marching units are sponsored by clubs and fraternal organizations, which provide costumes and musical instruments and pay travel expenses. The ancestors of today's citizens came here from many places looking for new land and a new opportunity. They came from all sections of the United States, from England, from Ireland, from Bavaria, and many of today's leaders are descendants of the true settlers of the land, the Osage and the Cherokee Indians. All the new industries are represented. To manufacture boats in the middle of Kansas is an achievement. An even greater one is that the leaders of independence have persuaded the government to extend a national waterway system right up to the edge of town. A degree of the same ingenuity applied every day to manufacturing electronic gear is displayed in the construction of the company's float. The electronics plant is one of the most modern in the country. It supplies equipment for use in space projects to more than 400 companies around the world. The new industries of independence didn't just happen to appear on the scene. With fewer farms needed to feed America, the citizens of independence saw the main function of their town, that of an agricultural center, seriously threatened. Instead of letting their community die, they organized committees to find ways of giving it new life. The town supplied property for the building of new plants, and sometimes even built the plants. Workers were trained in new skills. Advertising campaigns were launched to attract new industry. And it worked. All the people here today know it worked. All the people here today, hosts as well as guests, have caught the spirit of independence. All year long, the children of independence have been waiting for this day. And the same night, what little Kristen Utz did not expect, but hoped for, happens nonetheless. A salute from the governor of Kansas, in person, to Her Majesty the Queen.
Beautiful queen.
Independence has done it, all on its own. Its spirit is worthy of its name.